a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. And today we're going to talk about consciousness, because we feel that there's a dawning of enlightenment consciousness. Let me put it that way. We are experiencing a great awakening to a higher consciousness. The soul evolution of human consciousness is the result of the inner and outer alchemy of light. Our lives are changing. Our world is changing. And this discussion presents a higher perspective as to the purpose of all these changes. We are becoming enlightened as individual souls and as a whole collective of the unified field of human consciousness. Please feel free to ask any questions as we go along, and we're going to read a poem and discuss each section of it. But I think others have noticed as well that there is an increase in people's consciousness. People are indeed becoming more and more aware. And so that's exciting. So let me bring Michelle Marie Angel on. And her poetry is very enlightening in and of itself because it's filled with light codes. So let me bring Michelle on. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi, Gail.
Hi. Oh, I thought I changed my picture. Let me fix that. There. Guess you can't see it very much. I just like that picture was so pretty as two people in love on top of the world. We're all going to be in love on top of the world as we transition to this higher realm, this heaven on earth, shall we say?
Isn't that perfect? The bright light in the middle behind him. That's perfect for enlightenment consciousness.
Yeah, that's why I like that picture. I love Jim's work. He just does wonderful artwork. And it's so colorful. And that is so the way it's going to be. Colors. We're going to see more colors. We're going to experience things that we've never experienced before.
What's his last name again? Jim?
Pardon? Jim Warren.
Yeah, Jim Warren. I just wanted to say his name because he deserves a lot of credit for such beautiful pictures.
Yes, he does. And he I can't believe how many of them he puts out in such a short period of time, too. It's going, wow. Now, that's just talent, you know.
I know. I love his work.
And that imagination is on fire all the time. I mean, it's just, wow, the things he comes up with. So anyway, let's talk about consciousness.
Yes. You know, I just think it's really good to get the higher perspective, because with everything going on in the world, the higher perspectives gives everything meaning and purpose. And there's, you know, like positivity and exciting, great things happening. And, you know, that's the whole purpose of what we're going through and everything. So it's good to look at the benefits and the progress that we're making from looking at this higher point of view.
Well, instead of focusing on some of the collapsing that's going on around us, but what's really awesome about it is people are becoming more and more aware. They're seeing more and more of the corruption. The truth is coming out. Woof.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even keep up with it myself, trying to, you know, I know a lot of it. I really feel those of us that have had this awareness for a few years now definitely have heard a lot of this before, but now it's really the more hard evidence is coming forward, let's put it that way.
Yeah,
from more than one sources. I used to always try to have at least 3 sources
that's
of anything
that's
that Three different, hopefully independent sources. Because
can I say something? I just thought of it, and it's very, very timely. So all of our enlightenment, all of our truth seeking, all of this information gathering, we always sort of knew that we were going to be here to help others when the masses wake up. So we have the paradigm pioneers who have been researching truth and sharing the truth amongst us, the people that were interested at that time.
That would listen.
And now there's a new wave. And so let me tell you an example of that. So I have some friends and relatives, and they were not really on the same page or wavelength or, in terms of getting information as me. And so I just sort of kept my mouth shut and everything. But you know what I think is happening now because of that Sound of Freedom movie coming out? That one is hitting the masses. And, a lot of my friends and I, we weren't going to go because we're like, well, it's almost like, we know all that. And
we already know. Yeah.
But however, now I'm actually going to go with some people that are not aware. They're much behind of the primary avant-garde truth movement. And so I had a discussion with some family members, and one of them had already seen that. And it just is opening doors to conversations. And that's actually why I am going to go see it next week.
I saw it already.
With another family member who is open to hear about other things. It's going to open doors of conversation. And I think that's what's really exciting about that movie.
Yes, it is. And the thing of it is too, is even if you don't even tell anybody what it's even about, just saying that it's everybody, it's a blockbuster really. And, you got to go see it. We got to go see it. And it's based on a true story.
Yeah. That's sort of fun. So that all that really kind of ties into what we're going to talk about, the dawning of enlightenment consciousness. And so I just thought, when I reread some of this poetry, and I think of my American literature class when I was in high school, and we would read this transcendental meditation. And the teacher would say, well, what did they mean by that? And I used to think, well, why can't they just say what they meant, But anyway, I thought, it'd be good to analyze it just a little bit at a time and talk about our observations actually in noticing the changes that we have made. Because if you think about this poem was written about 23 years ago in the year 2000, at the end of the year 2000.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty amazing. You were definitely inspired by these words, I can tell.
Yeah. So,
and I have had the opportunity of when I go out into nature on a trail, I bring one of your books because they all have poetry in them. And I usually read a couple of poems out there. And the one that we're going to go through today is one that I had actually already had read out in nature. And I had highlighted the very end of the poem, which we'll get to, and you'll find out what that is.
So but anyway. If you want to do the honors and read a little bit at a time, we can go over it.
All right. Love to. Be happy to. Okay. The name of this particular poem is Waking Up in Transformation. So, o'er the land and sea did they travel, mysteries of life to unravel, observed the human nature change, mind, body, soul rearranged.
So the first line said, o'er land and sea did they travel. Who I'm talking about is I went to a conference in Acapulco, Mexico, and it was a consciousness in business conference. And there were over 400 people there. There were people like Greg Braden, Susan Campbell, PhD, who's an author, and people like Dan Millman, who wrote The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And so a lot of leading people in consciousness were there. There was a presentation by Heart Math, and people would talk about consciousness, and then and also in business. So consciousness and business applications of that. So yeah, and so that conference was in December of 2000. And when I got back, I just wrote down my thoughts about this transformation of consciousness. And it was inspired by going to that conference about consciousness in Acapulco, which was gorgeous and beautiful and nice.
Oh, my sister had her wedding in honeymoon in Acapulco.
Nice.
Lucky duck. Yeah, she got to go to a lot of nice places.
Yeah. So, in the part that said, observe the human nature change, mind, body, soul rearranged. So we have been getting these waves of energy, and more people with the waves have been waking up. So we're all getting a consciousness upgrade. It's affecting us in different ways. Sometimes things come up for healing. And then there's also it's sort of holistic. And so more and more information has been coming out about health awareness, which,
Yes.
That's
and back to nature with health awareness too, because that's where the real healing comes from. Actually, Big Pharma used to co-op nature by taking their an active ingredient from an herb or a plant, and then making it into whatever drug they wanted to make at the time in a very concentrated dose, which isn't natural for us in many ways, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, and they used oil and synthetics and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's petroleum based, basically.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So moving right along.
Yeah. And so, the physical health, the spiritual health, the mental health, that was the beginning of people waking up to, instead of being programmed, new thinking patterns started emerging. And people would start doing inner work, and a lot of the little breakout periods would be about what's your life purpose, inner work, like asking questions, who
Yes,
am
I have people talking about that, bringing that up, like, well, how do you know what your life purpose is? Things like that, whereas it's probably something you never really thought of before.
Yeah, like all these topics are coming out, and new language to talk about the topics, and the consciousness shift. We do have new language, about processing. I'm setting intentions. I'm visioning. We have their imagination has more credibility and power than we were led to believe, right?
Oh, definitely. And I worked for a number of years at naturopathic medical school because I saw the direction that everything would be going. But what they did with that is they've made it almost, if not just as expensive as regular medical school. Only at the time I was there, you couldn't get the financing or the extra support that you need. So it's pretty hard to work and go to medical school at the same time, the way they have it set up. But all that's going to change in a more positive way, I think.
Because well, I'll tell you something that I believe is going to change is that they try to codify things and set licenses and control it. And just think about long ago when people had home remedies and they just went in nature and got things, and they didn't have to get a license, they didn't have to pay.
Exactly.
They learned all the stuff, and then they used the information and they did all the healing naturally. They passed it along to their family and friends, and you know.
Right. And we lost a lot of that. Fortunately, we do have a lot of old remedies that people have collected in books and so on, thank goodness. And those are the kinds of things people should be looking to have in print nowadays.
Well, you know what? I have a bunch of them in print because I've collected books like that of, you know, herbal remedies, Native American remedies, and not only the books, but when I lived in the cabin in the woods, I would learn what things were and what they were good for. And I used comfrey. I made a poultice out of it and used it for healing. And yeah,
I'm
I used,
familiar with that one. Yeah.
yeah, different things. And and then also luckily I had a good influence in my grandma, who was very much into health foods and supplements and stuff like that. But I've always been interested in learning that stuff, and there's always, you know, more to learn. But
Well,
anyway.
I devoted the first half of my career, really, or actually three-quarters of it, to nutrition, and I lean toward the natural and the herbal and stuff like that. But you couldn't get anywhere with that when I was there.
Well, yeah, that's by design. They wanted to
You were considered a quack.
yeah. And all of us that, you know, did follow that and didn't buy into the other were, you know, sort of, I don't want to say fringe, but I mean,
Conspiracy theorists. Any way that they can discredit you if you're not going along with the official
we thought
narrative.
it was normal. I know when I was a teacher, I had health insurance and it didn't pay for the alternative things that I wanted. And
Exactly.
I just paid for it out of pocket. But
That's the sad part of it, you know. And I've actually had people take prescription drugs as opposed to herbs, because the herbs, they would have to purchase them out of their budget, whereas the insurance companies, talk about collusion here, and would cover prescription drugs, but they wouldn't cover any of the alternative treatments, just like you said. In fact, they've let one in here or there, and they still, for the most part, do not cover that kind of thing.
yeah.
That's sad.
But, you know, we are finding our way. And so that first part of the poem was, you know, here everybody's, you know, putting together all these parts of holistic conscious living, including mind, body, and soul. You know, we're putting all that together now, and we're sharing information. And, you know, every 5 years, I think there's just like another wave of upgrade of consciousness, upgrade in how we live, you know, sharing information, using information. And, you know, I think it's great, the direction we're heading. So.
Oh, I do too. It's, you know, I saw it coming a long time ago in the healthcare industry, because that needs to be totally revamped, totally, completely. In fact, it needs to go down and then rebuilt.
And of course, many more people are awake to that now, ever since the, you know, pandemic, scandemic.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go on to the next little section and we can discuss it further. Okay. Waking up in transformation, still sleepy, not out of incubation. Wonders of new life form now, feelings, senses change somehow.
Yeah, so I remember it was soon after that, I was so our feelings and our thoughts and everything were sort of changing. And I remember, as an example, I caught myself. One time I was feeling something. I think my feelings were hurt or something, and I was talking to myself and I was saying, I shouldn't feel that way, and it was just my natural feelings. And I thought, wait a minute, you know, my feelings are telling me something. And that's when I started accepting my feelings, reflecting on my feelings, opening up my perception, and sort of like getting the energy out, information out of the energy, because all energy carries information. And I self-reflected. I sort of got the message for myself, and then I realized I can communicate my feelings after I process, and I understand, myself. I accept my feelings, and then just share them. Just be honest with them. And I'll tell you what, my intuition and perception and everything really increased when I accepted my feelings and voiced my feelings. That's
Yeah.
one way.
I think what we're all going through to a certain extent, everybody's at different levels and different places along the way, but we're all going through self-discovery of what are we really all about? What really is the most important? Why am I feeling this way? Is that from some trauma in the past? Why am I so triggered? Or, all those different kinds of questions that come up. Have I been, treated badly in the past and I'm overreacting to it now because, for whatever, anything like that might come up is something that you can
That's really
discover about yourself.
That's really interesting. Exactly what you're talking about is this enlightenment consciousness, because we start asking reflections in a self-reflection sort of way. And when we ask questions, it's like we have higher levels of intelligence, which is like our higher self, our eternal self, our spirit self, eternal spirit, our spiritual self. And the answers come from that unified field of consciousness, which our higher self, that's the oneness that we're talking about. And we ask the questions and self-reflect, and that is the process of enlightenment. Exactly what you just said. Yes, that's really great.
Yes, just from based on a few things that people say, what I'm going through myself, because everybody's experiencing the changes that are happening as a result of the energies on the planet. And let's see.
Oh, and when it comes to feelings, feelings are associated with water, and water carries information.
Oh, and a lot of it. In fact, they're finding out water almost carries more than crystals.
Yeah. And so when you process the information and you sort of transmute the energy, and then it comes out to be like a beautiful pattern, because our true nature is love. And when we love ourselves and when we're self-reflecting, we're going in deeper to our deeper self and transmute that energy. And then our energy becomes like Emoto's crystals, when the words love and gratitude and the essence comes out, everything else falls away, and then the essence of the information comes to our mind and our heart, and we become all the wiser, processing our feelings and paying attention to ourselves and self-reflecting. We have deeper thoughts, and they come from our eternal higher self. And so it's a great process we're in.
Yes, it is. And it's fascinating as well. The things you discover about yourself too, as you think about it more. Because what was that famous line? Know thyself.
That's it. That's exactly it. Know thy true self.
Let's see, where are we at?
We're on Smacks of Oneness.
Oh, okay.
Next 4 lines.
Okay. Smacks of oneness in spirituality, confirmed by science in reality. Awareness shift from man's outward leap, consciousness now, going in deep.
Yeah.
That reminds me of programming. That just speaks programming to me, going in deep. Finding out what your own personal programming is from your experiences.
We're actually tuning into, so the one unified field, there is a realm of absolute truth. Truth is one. There is a unified field of absolute truth, and science now talks about the unified field of consciousness. And Rupert Sheldrake has talked about the morphogenic field.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
About collective consciousness. And he actually wrote this book right here called The Physics of Angels.
Huh.
with, he wrote it. It was Rupert Sheldrake and Matthew Fox. And the thing about this, so the science is talking about the unified field of consciousness and morphic resonance. Okay. So when we're going into where our peaceful eternal self is. And we go into, the deeper we go, the more peace we feel. And we get to that resonant field of oneness that they're talking about in the unified field of consciousness. And so he talks in this book, The Physics of Angels. They talk about angels and how, everybody naturally wants to feel bliss, which is happiness. Okay.
Yeah.
And so angels naturally love God, and angels naturally want to help God bless people. That's what angels do. They're instruments of God, and they bless people. And by blessing people, they feel blissful. Okay, so they love God. Their attention direction is on God, source. The
Yeah.
oneness, the centeredness of in the peaceful presence of the Great One. And so they were saying that they realized that turning to God as the source of bliss, of happiness. And so their natural love from God is the source of our natural being, everybody. And
We were
so,
born in love.
yeah, we are loved. And so we want everyone to be happy. So we find our happiness, and then we want to share happiness and help others to be happy. And so we become servants, basically. So we go from selfish to selfless, and we want to serve our brothers and sisters. We want to help people be happy. And again, that's raising our consciousness.
Well,
And so,
oh, go
yeah,
ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't know you were. Okay.
I want.
I was going to say, we hear a lot of talk about service to self and service to others, and that people need to be 51% service to others in order to ascend or to transition to the higher realms. Do you agree with that?
I had not heard that before,
Mhm.
but it makes sense because you want to, because actually that's where happiness and bliss comes from. You realize your direct connection to source, and that's what the smacks of oneness really means. You're directly connected to the unified field. The unified field is source, is God. It's the highest vibration of love. And so we're all connected in that field of love, in that field of bliss. That's essence. Love is essence. And that's our self. That's our, Christ self, our God self. It's all one. It's all one unified field that we resonate with. And, the Essenes actually, what I learned is that they saw humans' evolution as going from, up and up the ladder to becoming angels. And so, we're all becoming angels as we ascend because we are in that higher vibration of love, the high vibrational frequency. We're unified, and we're here, to help each other, serve each other, love each other, and be the best that we can be, and to express our own essential nature and our purpose and our own soul's design, because we all have special, unique gifts to share.
And people's gifts are coming forward. And the more awareness they already have, the more readily that happens. And everybody's had not only different levels, but there's also physical issues that can come into play with one's pineal gland and being calcified and things of that nature.
Yeah, all of that is that we're waking up to. We're sharing that information. We're helping each other. They have, so things have come out along the way, like, don't use fluoride, use toothpaste without fluoride, drink water without fluoride, because that calcifies the pineal gland. There's
They
detoxifying
did that on purpose. That's
diets.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where the health issue really comes in, because a detoxification, because of everything that we've been exposed to, our body, our health is affected by it. And we're never, that's one of the things that in the medical field never would look at. They never look at, well, are there, toxins that are,
but now,
interfering with this person's metabolism or their physiology or whatever it happens to be.
and we have the ability in our DNA and in our body and in our soul and in our mind to self-heal, to detoxify, to self-heal, to overcome. It's all overcoming. All of these things are catalysts for change. We overcome. We're all the wiser. We're all the stronger. We're standing in the light. We are the light. We are more powerful than any of that. And we overcome every bit of it. And we are all the stronger light warriors.
Exactly. And that's beautiful, because the higher your vibration, the less these things are even an issue at all.
Right. If you don't match that frequency, if you don't buy into it, if you free your mind and control your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions, that's enlightenment. That is the vibrational frequency. You have to match it or buy into it or go into fear or lower your vibration in order for it to affect you. Masters, they say, can drink poison and it doesn't affect them. So, I don't.
And they can walk on hot coals too, and it doesn't affect them. I mean, that takes mind over matter.
Exactly. And, grace by grace, bit by bit, we are overcoming things and becoming, wiser, stronger, happy, enlightened. We don't let anybody divide us. We love each other. We hug each other. We don't buy into the,
Fear.
somebody's this or that or whatever.
As we stay in that higher frequency, it helps us to heal in so many ways, body, mind, and spirit. And it's just and the photonic light that's coming in is making it easier for us.
Yeah.
And then we can, the thing that they used to call junk DNA is not junk. It was never junk. God never made any junk. And it was dismantled DNA that is going to find its way back to where it was originally meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. Reactivated. Yeah, regenerated and reactivated.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else. Yep. That's good. I think we're going to be on the next one yet, but there looks like there's a comment. If you want to put that comment.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay, yeah.
Difficult to consider that one.
Okay, let me go. I'll read it off. It's difficult to consider long-term investments if we are due for a big change. How to stay loyal to your current affairs while being excited for a new paradigm. I don't know what the question is there exactly, but I don't know. I just don't even. The Earth is one of the few planets or in the galaxy that even has money for long-term investment type things.
Oh, okay. I was just going to ask if you were talking about money investments or energy investments, because really everything is energy. And that's part of the enlightenment. Everything is energy. And so, yes, it's sort of like swimming upstream when we start setting our intentions and being conscious creators, but we have to, keep at it and never give up. We're changing deeply our subconscious mind with affirmations and healing and self-worth and self-knowledge and self-discovery and paying attention to ourself and our inner life really does make the change that we're seeing in the world. And we are receiving more and more light and more health. And so staying loyal to your current affairs, yeah, that's, we're all doing that. We're navigating these changes. And calling in the new and transforming, transmuting, and transcending and releasing the old. We're not done yet. We're still doing the work. and we're just persevering and never giving up and supporting each other. So I'm excited about the new paradigm, and I am in the midst of overcoming challenges all at once, but I'm applying the new consciousness, knowing that it's science and it works. And what I anticipate is much victory and success. And we just are going to keep on, encouraging each other and supporting each other, because it is coming. The good victory is coming.
I'm going to put up this other question too before we move along, and that is, ladies, do you have any knowledge of when we see the med? I'm told that those beds are, the people in charge don't like them being called med beds. They prefer that you'd call it quantum healing chambers or technology, one of those, rather than med, because it's not medical. It's totally new, never been used on us before technology.
But at any rate, it is new technology that we're not used to having, and a lot of it uses light and frequency. And this light frequency new technology is coming out. I went to a scalar energy room, and these other new technologies, I don't know when. I keep hearing that it's soon.
Yeah, this summer.
A lot of people are in that age range of the 60s, 70s, and so forth, and could use a tune-up, myself included. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I wish I knew, but a lot of times things are event driven, and you really don't know when people put out timeline. I mean, I believe it when I see it, but I also can imagine it and imagine the effects. And I make affirmations about healing all the time. And I was doing that today, as a matter of fact, when I was swimming in the ocean. I was swimming in the Gulf, and saying my affirmations while in water, because water is such a good place to do affirmations, using water and doing conscious manifestation.
Okay, so I think most of the good things that we're anticipating will come forward will require that certain people that appear to be in charge are removed from where they appear to be in charge of. So if you get my drift without saying it right.
Every movie has an ending.
Yeah. Okay, shall we move along to the next line?
Yes.
Let's see, where we did emerging senses. Is that where we left? Yeah.
Awareness from man's outward leap.
Oh, wrong one. Okay. Awareness shift from man's outward leap. Consciousness now going in deep. Emerging senses of peace and love. Different perspectives below and above.
Yeah. So below and above is like the 3D physical and the 5D higher consciousness. Okay. So we get these different perspectives. We're still in the 3D physical reality, but we're not completely identified or completely confined to that anymore. We're dissolving all the limitations. We're dissolving the identity of being purely physical. Our identity now is spirit, it's intelligence, it's light. And so we have that direct connection, communion with God or higher self, whatever you want to call it. And so when we're going in deep, we're becoming conscious of our true God self, the I am presence. And we are realizing our true eternal essence, which is that high vibrational frequency of pure love, pure light. It's essence. And we feel it as peace, and we feel it, like when you're in the flow and you're getting synchronicities, and you're seeing the triple digit numbers and the 1111, and all that stuff is part of being in sync with the universe. And also, when we're going in and we're meditating and stuff like that, we feel the peace, we feel the love. And then after meditation, we're a little bit different every time we meditate or go in nature and attune to that resonant field of pure essence. The elements include the pure essence of nature. And so the different perspectives, we're intermingling the different perspectives, the spiritual and the five senses, and then the other senses that I mentioned, the dormant senses that are coming in. And so the 3D is mostly physical, and then the 5D, the higher consciousness, and that spiritual perspective and wisdom is coming through our minds.
All right. So then we go to the next one, which is waking up and transformation. Dormant senses experience elation, body acquiring ever more chi, yoga balancing new energy.
Yes, and that's so exciting. So it's that so-called junk DNA, or so-called, we have an inner voice of conscience. We have an inner voice. We have clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance. We have intuition. We have interdimensional communication. So we have transfer of information between dimensions. And so people are having downloads and, these intuitive, detailed guidance or information or inspiration. We develop a closer sense of our inner knowing of truth with our direct connection with the eternal and absolute field of consciousness, which is that oneness. So our higher self turns us on. It's like activates our blueprint. And so we discover our life purpose and our own individual personal gifts and why we are here. And we become passionate about helping or serving or creating. And it's really exciting. Everybody's like, waking up, helping each other. It's like kids with a big family. The older ones help the younger ones and stuff.
Yeah. And I really feel like I'm on a mission. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And the idea is to get as much forward to people that will help them facilitate any healing that they need, as well as bringing spiritual enlightenment through the different guests that I have that help them to facilitate things. It just
Of your enlightenment, knowing your life purpose, that's evidence of your enlightenment and your progress and your soul's evolution, is that you're at that level of serving your life's purpose and doing that. And everybody's, sort of, I think I mentioned it before from another book we were talking about. It's like popcorn, and people are popping into this new awareness and discovering their life purpose, and and then setting intentions and creating experiences and opportunities and realizing synchronicities and blessings. And that's all part of the 5D consciousness that is happening right now more and more. It's pretty exciting, I think.
Yes, and one of the things that I meant to mention more so when we were talking a little bit earlier about the different changes and so on, is the most important thing that people have to know is it's your journey and your path, and you can't walk it for anyone else, and you can't change anyone else. You can only change yourself. So
that's the point. Each of our journeys is unique, and each of our divine guidance is unique. And so if I tell somebody my guidance is to make this decision, this choice, this is my guidance for me, for my path. And I would never tell anybody what to do or not to do. But when I reveal what my guidance is for me, it's exactly that. It's specialized instruction to me, for me, to behave a certain way or make certain choices or decisions. And and each of us has our own, based on what it is that we are learning about, our own unique path to discover, and then share our own unique gifts.
Okay, so let's go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And that one says, words emanating from mind to yield, increasing reception from unified field, stillness, quiet, meditation, forever altering man's vibration.
And that goes back to that Rupert Sheldrake thing, the resonance that we're feeling. So we get into this resonance with the higher vibrational frequencies. And so that's that interdimensional information that we're getting, and the downloads and the visions and the dreams, and like leading us to certain truth, or sources of truth, or synthesizing and putting together, different truth. All of that stuff, it's like, it's all working together. It's a big synthesis of information and enlightenment. And the enlightenment is really exciting, because we are receiving from our direct connection that is now secure and in place, from going within, where we are all tied together, at the heart and soul level of spirit. And so it's really exciting. People talk about that more and more. I mean, when I was growing up, or in high school, or even after that, people weren't talking about, getting downloads, or,
No, that's true. Nobody ever said that. Or
yeah,
transmissions, or
right,
even
exactly.
channeling was even kind of
Right.
rare.
Right,
Uh,
right, 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 right. And the deeper perceptions, being intuitive and having higher sensory perception, which we're all getting and developing now, that higher sensory perception. Our perceptive gifts are getting stronger and stronger, and we are more and more expanded, more and more aware. And now these things are becoming the new norm, getting downloads and getting all this information and sharing the information. And there's new language, and that's evidence of this new enlightenment consciousness that we're all experiencing. We're all experiencing it in our own way. That's exciting.
yes, it is. And let's do the next one is hearts absorbing cosmic love, oneness threads so spoken of, woven through all aspects of being. Man is now conclusively seeing, no longer to be hypnotized, soul connection realized. Just exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah. So our soul connection attunes us to truth, and we want to seek more truth. The more we seek the truth and we're attuned to the truth within, no longer can we be hypnotized by television and media and corporations that try to tell us something that our inner senses
They're
say is
going, no, no, no.
not good for us, not true, not good for us.
We
Uh,
don't resonate with lies.
no, we don't. No, we don't. Nope, nope. So that direct connection, we're not going to be hypnotized. We're not buying into that old, BS programming.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We're empowered
It
now.
was designed to keep us down.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. Nothing can stop us, because we're coming forward, onward and upward. Here we go.
Okay, next line. Waking up and transformation, sending out more invitations, conscious intentions, goodwill to all, expanding awareness, inner call.
The sending out more invitations, you know what that reminds me of? What we talked about at the very beginning. Like, so during the pandemic, there was like almost like a separation of people that bought into it and people that didn't buy into it. And the people that didn't buy into it were very much the minority in the beginning. However, more and more people woke up and discovered more deceit and fallacies, and lost trust in the so-called experts, the so-called officials, the
Stuff
so-called.
just didn't add up, did it?
But where we're at now, it's been a few years, and where we're at now, we're sending out more invitations. We are inviting people to look at your channel and channels like that, and more people are coming forward, and they'll look at, not just, your new videos, but they'll go back in history. There's a lot of historical videos that are still very pertinent and, you know, very great for waking up. And there's so much information.
If somebody went back on the years back on my channel, they would find that in the very early stages of all this, I had people on and we were talking about this isn't adding up, this isn't, you know, and I had Judy Mikovits on about masks. Don't wear masks, they're not going to help you, they do more harm than good, all of that stuff. That's why my channel got taken down.
Well,
Guarantee it.
congratulations, because, you know, the forerunners did wake up a lot of people, did save a lot of lives, did educate many people, and that education is continuing, and the waking up process is continuing, and we truly are helping each other, even just by changing ourselves. You know, we're changing the whole because we're unified, and we're creating a stronger morphogenic field and morphic resonance based on a higher vibration. And Lady Gaia, our, you know, very sentient conscious planet that we live on, is raising her vibration. And so, you know, it goes back and forth. It's like the alternating current. You know, we're helping the planet wake up, she's helping us wake up. You know, we're all becoming more conscious in terms of, you know, being aware of and attuned to truth, and, you know, making higher and higher choices from a much more expanded awareness and deeper perceptions.
Yes, our loving awareness is coming forward. And that comes from our heart.
Yeah.
Where our soul resides, where our connection to source resides.
Yeah.
Where many people need to open up their heart because we've closed it down because of the pain and suffering and things that we've been exposed to on a regular basis. And now it's all breaking down, and that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. But, you know, it's there's a lot of compassion and empathy for people going through the process of processing these difficult energies, whether it's, you know, grief or anxiety. That's what we're helping each other with. I mean, we've, you know, had people who have lost loved ones. We have, you know, had health issues. There have been, you know, just so many issues. This is not for the faint of heart. You know, this is, you know, effort and work on the part of us to keep having compassion for ourselves and others. You know, we have all gone through many a hard time, difficulties and challenges and things that we didn't even think we could possibly overcome. And yet, you know, we are going through it.
I'm still here. Yeah.
I'm still here.
One of those. Yeah. I always said you learn more from things that go wrong than you do from what goes right. I think it sticks with you.
Yeah.
More, so it doesn't happen again.
And the other thing, we were talking about language, and, you know, people are more and more into setting intentions. That's really huge in enlightenment consciousness, because when we're setting intentions, we're exerting our divinity. We're using our divine authority. We are promoting willpower, and intentions are a function of willpower. So if we get clear what we choose to create, what we choose to manifest, then the first part of it is the clarity. Here's what I intend to manifest. You know, I'm done manifesting other people's visions. I'm not going to be programmed anymore. I'm programming myself with affirmations. I'm clearing out my subconscious mind. I am doing this work of transformation through self-reflection and the direct connection to the higher self, God, the unified field of the high vibrational frequency of pure love, which is our true essence. That's know thyself. I am that I am.
Yes. I tried to use that as a password once and they wouldn't let me use it. I'm serious. So sometimes what I try to do is I use passwords that I think are, affirmations, mini
Yeah,
affirmations of
yeah,
sorts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do that actually. Yeah.
Okay, where did we leave off now?
We're on constant practice of meditation.
Okay. Oh, okay. Constant practice of meditation, heightening, expanding, new revelation, inner wisdom surfaces as intuition. Dreams come true as its fruition. Now, I think a lot of people don't realize that you don't have to sit in the lotus position um, and be there and to say that you're meditating, because all you have to really do is clear your mind and get quiet and let spirit come through.
Yeah, yeah. And really just set an intention to uh, receive thoughts from your higher self, attune to the divine mind. Um, we're being vigilant about watching our thoughts, because knowing that we're creative now, when we catch ourselves, if we go into any negativity, so we can just turn around and go into positivity and, think thoughts of love, think thoughts of gratitude, use high vibrational words. It's a process, and it takes a long time to change our mental habits and to realize
Definitely.
our mind is free unless we give it away. Our minds were captured. Now our minds are free. We are in control of our minds. We are in control of our vision. We are in control of our creations. So we're constantly creating instead of unconsciously creating. We are consciously creating and setting intentions. And when we go in deep, we find out our true heart's desires, our soul's blueprint, our gifts. We get so excited and we get creative with our imagination, and we learned our powers of creation and all of these powers of perception and creation and exerting our willpower through intentions and visioning. This is the new paradigm. This is enlightenment. I mean, we are becoming so empowered. We really are. It's so exciting to watch everybody. I mean, people are saying the same things, using the same language, spreading the word that we are creating. We are creating. Don't buy into that other old stuff. Anytime you want to exit, that vision or that timeline or whatever you want to call it, you can say no, and you can say, no, this is the reality that I choose to create. Or if somebody tries to lay something on you that's doom and gloom, no, I don't buy into that. That's not going to happen.
Not on my timeline.
No, just because someone planned it and has it as an agenda doesn't mean it's going to happen in my life. They can have their own timeline. They can go on their own negative vibration. It's like a bifurcation. Those negative states of consciousness it feels like there's like a separation of the negative and lower states of consciousness and the higher states of consciousness where we're empowered to create. Because basically you can intend to divorce that lower state of consciousness, divorce that like someone's in control of your mind and this is what's going to happen, there's nothing you can say or do about it. That's not true, and that's part of the enlightenment consciousness. Enlightenment is empowerment, and we create our own visions. We create reality. We are stepping up to the plate and realizing this power, and that's what enlightenment brings.
And that's why it's so important that we think about our thoughts. That I think about our thoughts. That sounds kind of crazy.
But that's right. That's correct. That's called metacognition. That's exactly right.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. But it's a way to try to. Again, it goes back to self-discovery. Like, why am I feeling that way? Why am I having these negative thoughts when I should be having positive thoughts? How can I turn this negative into a positive? Because we've been so conditioned in negativity. We really have.
Yeah.
Some of us maybe more than others. But it's a trip to overcome it all. Yeah, I ran across someone that I may have on my show at some point in time, and she's an instructor of positive thinking. I can't remember exactly how she put it, but a way to, it just sounded really interesting because a lot of us struggle with that, you know?
Well, any tips or tricks, or, people's ways of, getting into positive thinking. I remember that Norman Vincent Peale, I used to, eat up all of his books. They were all about positive thinking and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
being positive. And actually, when you hear people like that or read books like that, that's part of you're programming your own mind to be positive, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So what you're paying attention to, which is what we talked about in another video, and I have a video on my channel. I have something about paying attention to what you pay attention to. So I do have little spiritual tips on my. I forget about talking about it, but Smile Soul Power, all 3 different words on YouTube.
They're all in the description. Just scroll
Yeah,
down. I got,
but there are these like tips and tricks and stuff like that are specific if people are looking for that kind of information.
oh, here's a question.
Yeah.
Can we accidentally manifest misfortune because we don't know fully how to harness this power?
Yes. Yes. We can accidentally manifest misfortune because sometimes our subconscious mind will get a belief like we don't deserve it, for example, or we have some belief that's deep down that we don't realize that we have. So when we're manifesting, there's different ways to reach the subconscious mind and replace it. Like when you're using repetition and you want to say affirmations as you're going to sleep, because it changes your brain wave function is changing to the deeper levels. So you can repeat things as you're going to sleep and when you first wake up in the morning. So if we could manifest misfortune because of our minds and the way we're thinking. And then on the other hand, sometimes our soul is giving us an experience for a purpose. And I've had a couple experiences. There's different times in my life where I was experiencing like a very low financial point in my life. And I was asking within, why am I experiencing this at this time? Now, I was a professional with a master's degree and, had ways of making a living, but circumstances that I, had to experience this financial situation, less than desirable. Let me put it that way. And so
Been there.
at that time, they said, well, you're learning blah, blah, blah. And I got the download of everything I was learning. Plus, they said, you want to be a giver and you have to know what it feels like to receive. So there's lessons, and not just because we have misfortune or things that we're going through. Sometimes those are the problems or challenges that we're using to develop our souls. So
to evolve to a higher level of consciousness about whatever the subject happens to be.
yeah, like in math books, when you're learning math, you get a lot of problems and you have to work through those problems to learn math.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My student told me. So, Gail, why was the math book so depressed?
Why was the math book so depressed?
Yes, because I had so many problems.
Oh, of course.
I swear.
I should have got that right out the gate. I always overthink things. So Cass was asking me, she says she's been, as light workers, are you experiencing many challenges as of late? Oh my God, yes.
A barrage of challenges this year. Like,
oh my God, endless.
Barrage of challenges this year. And you know what? I think this is normal for light workers to experience a lot of challenges right now. For one, it's darkest before the dawn. For the other one, the challenges are what's activating our highest potential, including our DNA. And for the other, guess who doesn't want us to wake up and help other people? It doesn't matter. Nothing can stop what is coming in terms of our enlightenment consciousness. We are being helped and we're helping each other. And I think everyone I know that are light workers, that are in, the resonant souls that I hang with, are having many serious major challenges lately.
Yep.
Mhm.
Definitely. So that's not unusual at all. So
You're in good company.
yes, misery loves company. No, it's not miserable by any chance, but I tell you what, it's challenging. It really is, like never challenged before. And then having to deal with a lot of the things happening around us, anywhere from people passing to people moving out of our life from one way or another, resonance changes or what have you.
Yeah, big changes. I'm seeing it all around me.
Yeah.
And me. I mean, so many things are changing right now. I had a nice personal download this week about, just some guidance. And it made me feel like, things are going to get better. It was almost like a pep talk from my higher self. And yeah,
Those come in handy sometimes. Well,
yeah,
shall I read the last paragraph of the poem?
yes, please.
Okay. Enlightenment consciousness begins to exist. Lower thought forms no longer persist. Changing, transforming those who partake, consciousness beings do they make. Conscious beings. Pillars of light and energy, creating a new reality.
That's us, light workers. We're pillars of light. And, we really are. We are pillars of light. I mean, we're troopers. We are never giver uppers. We persevere through all of it. Miracles come at the very last second and the very last moment. And sometimes we just don't see the resolution to a problem, but it always comes. And so we're increasing our faith, and we're just keeping our chin up and staying in gratitude. And we know there are really great, wonderful gifts right around the corner. They really are. They really are. I mean, we probably all sense that it is coming. The good news, the good opportunity, the miracle money, the wonderful person, the lots of new
Suffering, human suffering and pain going away.
gone, revitalized, regenerated, renewed on every level, heart, mind, body, and soul. I mean, completely renewed, eternal youth, perfect health, you name it. I mean, we are being gifted. And yes, we're going through challenges, but it is darkest before the dawn. And that just shows us the dawn is coming. This is the dawn is our enlightenment from within. And we are Christed souls now. And it's time to step up to the plate and just use the power, our divine authority, and our power of our spoken word. And, we talked about that one before, but, this is a great time to be alive. And we are here together. We're pillars of light, and we are creating a new reality.
Here's a question for you. Will there be rivalry and or competition among beings with spiritual abilities? Will the potential for harm still be present?
Well, I mentioned in the video that we did about the new paradigm that the old paradigm was competition. The new paradigm is cooperation. And there won't be any competition because we are each so unique and have such unique skills and abilities and gifts There's nobody there. We're like a snowflake that is completely unique, our own pattern. Our blueprint is our own pattern. We are completely unique, completely special, and we just honor one another and each other's gifts, and we receive from each other, and we give to each other. And
rivalry and competition are so 3D.
Yeah, that won't happen.
And we're moving out of 3D. So
we're growing out of that. And as far as the potential for harm, I think it's the opposite. I think that our level of compassion is rising, and those who maybe are perpetrators, the evil ones, they can't go where we're going. It's like we're rising to a new what do you want to call it? A new dimension. We're going to a new dimension. And if you can't vibrate there, you can't go. And so all of the negativity and harm, I think, will be left behind. We're leaving a lot behind. Negativity.
Yes, I heard a lot of our memories are going to be left behind too, from what I've been understood, because they're not of any value going forward. Mm-hmm. We've already learned the lessons from them. We've already incorporated them into our being. We don't have to remember any of the, we especially don't have to remember any of the pain and suffering that we went through.
The alchemy, what's left behind is the wisdom. The knowledge and the wisdom is what we're left with. We don't need to know the details of what we went through. We have the wisdom. We have the I don't know what you want to call it, the higher intelligence, the heart intelligence. It's incorporated into our essence. Our very essence has changed.
All right. Well, we finished our poem.
Yeah.
We've discussed it along the way.
Yeah.
And I think we've covered a lot of.
A question, if you don't mind.
Pardon?
I just want to ask you a question about your observation. You've been doing these interviews and stuff, and what is your takeaway from maybe you sort of can evaluate and discern and learn. You learn, you evaluate, and you discern from all these different guests you have. Do you have any comments to make about, different unique gifts or qualities or, personalities, or, do you find like special gifts and information from each one that you?
I think I've some of the people that I've interviewed that already were, they're awake. That's why I interview them. But I think they're experiencing these changes, these different feelings, and they're very aware of them. Maybe whereas somebody that's not as evolved some things may happen, but they don't really understand where it's coming from or why it's happening or something like that. But I'm trying to think of the different people I've had on lately, and I'm getting kind of blank. But even there was one show I did with Lloyd Brunson, which is actually kind of political per se, but not really, because what they were doing was addressing an issue that needed to be addressed, and they're being active about it. Just like when I see the new videos out there too of people standing up to the school boards and saying, "You're out of here. We're not having drag queen shows for children here. It doesn't cut it. It's not cool." That kind of thing. And,
that's pillars of light standing for truth. And that's right. Righteousness is right use of energy. And when you feel that passion and you feel that truth and you take a stand, that's a pillar of light. That's what people are doing. They're standing for the truth.
It almost makes me misty-eyed when I see them doing that, because I'm so proud of them that they're doing that.
Me Me too.
There's only so much we can do, and to see
Everybody's
others.
part was important, Gail. Everybody's part is important.
Exactly.
Doing what we can.
And it just makes me feel so happy to see people really standing, and some of them really take some good stands too, with some really wise, well-written words. Or spoken words, I should say. And as well, sometimes it's written and spoken, but either way, I've been waiting for Americans to step up, and there's quite a few that are starting to do it.
And it's all interwoven. Our enlightenment consciousness, our attunement to truth, our taking action. I've been on the street with signs. I've been to, different, things of taking a stand, raising awareness, educating people about the truth, exposing agendas, exposing deception.
They made it so difficult for us on video because of the censorship. It just infuriates me, because that's not what this country was based on. This country was divinely inspired. I don't care what anyone says. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
And it was meant for freedom. And
we will have freedom. We are overcoming all of it. We are claiming our freedom. We are overcoming. We are claiming our freedom. We're not backing down. We are victorious in the end and all the way. We are standing. We are not backing down, and things are changing. They are changing, and we will be the ones left standing. These pillars of light, standing for truth, standing in our own power, creating our own reality, creating heaven on earth, and raising the vibration so that, in the end, it really is compassion, peace, love, conscious creators, intention, and
harmony.
Pardon me?
Harmony.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Unity and harmony.
Very important. We're getting there. We're getting there.
We are. We've come a long way, baby.
Yes, we sure have. So I want to thank our listening audience for participating when you participate, and for listening. And I hope you find these shows helpful. We do have in the description. Please look it over, and we'll see you again next week. I don't like to do sales or pitches much or anything like that. So I just do hope that you will take a look in the description, and just know that it helps if we get supported, and even your comments are supportive. So thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
God bless you.
Bye, everyone. I just have to find my ending here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, Michelle, as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers. Stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are